Now that we've looked at the development of bones, what about growing and remodeling or reshaping? So ossification continues. It doesn't just stop once you become an adult, but it will happen when there's remodeling and changes of bone. Because people change over time, how we carry ourselves, our bones have to adapt accordingly. So there's two ways or two aspects of remodeling that happen. You have a change in width of a bone. So this occurs through what we call appositional growth, and it's where new bone is added onto pre-existing bone or cartilage. Or you can have, you have an increase in length at the epiphyseal plate. And this is where interstitial cartilage growth happens, and then it has appositional growth onto the cartilage. The closure of that epiphyseal plate that I talked about in the last slide, when it becomes ossified and it becomes the epiphyseal line, it happens between the ages of 12 and 25. So it's really varied from individual to individual, and it spans over about 13 years. If you recall, articular cartilage is the cartilage that's on the outside of the ends of bones, so on the epiphyses, when those bones are going to meet up with another bone at a joint. This cartilage actually never ossifies, and it stays throughout life. And again, that has to do with the fact that it's in joints, and it's where it's meeting a bone is meeting another bone. And so the purpose of the articular cartilage is to reduce friction and allow those bones to move past each other in a joint without causing damage. And so that's why it doesn't ossify, it doesn't harden. Here we can see a couple of images that I like to show how bones continue to change even throughout our life. So in remodeling, you can have a change in width as well as length. And so you can see that from this bone here on the left to this bone here on the right. This is where that bone was, and now it has grown in length and it's grown in width. And just to remind you, if we're growing in length, it's interstitial growth. And if we're growing in width, it's appositional growth. So that's an increase in thickness. And this is due to the osteoblast and osteoclast on the bone surface. You can see this if you look at a teenager's hand. You can see how there's all these long bones. The phalanges are full of long bones or composed of long bones. Metacarpals are long bones. The carpals themselves are short wrist bones. And you can see these epiphyseal plates in these long bones of the metacarpals and the phalanges, which is kind of interesting. And so those are where the growth is occurring in this teenager.